Hello, everyone. Let us know when you're here. All right, we are here today to discuss our Book of the Month pick, Flicker in the Dark. Can you guys hear me okay? Well, thank you for joining us. All right. I can share the questions. We'll get started. All right. Can you guys see the questions okay?
Yes, I can.
Okay. So I guess we'll start with just a broad how do you feel about the book? How do you guys like the book?
I liked it. I think at times it was a little predictable, but other times I was kind of like on the edge of my seat, not knowing what to think.
I can agree with that. Definitely had me on my toes towards the end. I was like, the plot twist got me for sure.
I feel you there.
Let's see. So we'll start with the first question. The book opens with a prologue. The first line being, "I thought I knew what monsters were." Why do you think the author chose to start the book with this line? What were your expectations for the book after reading the prologue? I feel like it's relatable in a way. Like as a kid, you think monsters are, scary shadows and things like that under your bed.
Not actual people.
Yeah. You don't think that people can actually be monsters too. Not until you're older, I feel like, and um, with media and social media and stuff that you see all these crimes and things like that.
Yeah, and in the prologue, like towards the end of it, it was basically like there was a line that says, "No, the real monsters move in plain sight." Because throughout the prologue, she was talking about how like the monsters to her were shadows, and she would just close her eyes and run away, and like they weren't there anymore. And then she was like, "Well, I grew up, and this is what they are to me now." And then she was like, and then there was the one monster that in particular I learned to fear above all the rest, which then leads us into the book. So,
Right.
my book will not stay open.
Let's see. Then the next question. Chloe struggles to define home on page 20. She says home, that too is a loaded phrase. A home isn't just a home, a collection of bricks and boards held together by concrete and nails. It's more emotional than that. A home is safety, security. What is Chloe's home? How did you define the idea before reading, and how, if at all, has the definition changed?
Personally, I don't think home for her was like a physical thing. It was more of like, to me, it was more like her thoughts, because that's what, like, all the time she was just in her head. She was always trying to figure out like what was going on, how she could be related to the problem, like who the problem was. It was never like physical material items.
I can agree with that. I don't know why the question stopped sharing, but okay. Anyhow, let's see.
I'm gonna pull them back up on my phone really quick.
And I kind of feel like, in a way, sad for her that she can't define something as home. You know what I mean?
The term got ripped away from her at such a young age. Like, you got to think her home is supposed to be a safe place to land, and like hers was ripped apart by like somebody we thought was the killer, but it turned out to be something entirely different. And like, yes, it was still a part of her family, but for her, that definition and like that feeling got ruined at such a young age that honestly, like, it's just depressing.
Right. And then how did this define your idea of home after reading? It makes me feel grateful that, I don't know, I feel safe and secure where my home is, physically and in my space, because she doesn't have that. Even though, she owns her own home and all that stuff, she doesn't truly feel safe there.
Right. I agree with you there.
And then,
so did the definition of home change for you at all? Like, in the beginning, did you have like a certain definition, and then at the end of the book were you like, wow, she's right, like home isn't really four walls and a roof?
yeah, it kind of did change the definition a bit. It just, like you said, it doesn't have to be four walls and, a floor and a ceiling. It could be somewhere you feel safe, or a person that you feel safe with, or, you know what I mean?
Right. Well, personally for her, I feel as though it was just herself, like her own physical being. Just because like every single person that she seemed to feel safe with somehow wasn't a safe place to land.
Right, yeah. For sure. Oh, we're back. All right, so question 3. On page 76, Chloe says things about lightning bugs. I remember getting home that night and seeing the lightning bugs in our driveway, twinkling like constellations in the sky, the way they always did. But that night, it felt different. They felt different. I remember catching one in my palm, feeling it flutter between my fingers as I brought it in, placing it delicately inside a water glass, covering the lid in plastic. Lightning bugs can be seen throughout the story. What do they symbolize in A Flicker in the Dark?
Well, first off, it signified Lena and her belly button ring. But I think, honestly, she seemed more like she related to Lena a little bit more. And so, like, I think that day kind of was like a core memory for her.
Right.
So, therefore, like, I guess fireflies could be like a symbol of safety in a way because of the way that Lena like made her felt. She included her in things, like she didn't feel like she had to act a certain way to get her attention.
Right.
Because like right off the bat, Lena was just kind of like, "Oh, here, try this." Like, yeah, it was alcohol, but she included her in like the situation.
Right. Yeah. I also think that it also could symbolize Chloe as a character as well. How, like, you know how fireflies, their lights dim in and out. And that's just, I feel like her as a character in the way, like, how she felt safe and how she's seen people. Like, she'd see a light of, like, hope and safety with them, and then all of a sudden it just go dark. You know what I mean? For her mentally as well, not just how she felt physically towards the other characters
It could
too.
also be her life as a whole, like the events that she went through, like having a loving family, then her dad being arrested, and then getting engaged, and then thinking her fiance is the killer. Like
Right. Yeah.
the same thing with the flickering of the light. Like also like the name of the book.
Yeah.
Man, I was jumping in questions.
I
I was
was
reading
gonna
number
say,
5 and I was like, yeah.
I feel like we also kind of answered question 4 there
Yeah.
in a way. It's just how darkness and light plays in the book.
Yeah.
So we're gonna move on to 5. How are the past and present treated in A Flicker in the Dark? And how does this affect readers' understanding of events as the book progresses? How does this affect your understanding of Chloe?
Honestly, I'm jumping to like the second half of that question about the how does it affect your understanding of Chloe. It helped me understand her a little bit more, like learning what she went through as like a young adult into the present time of what she was dealing with. It really helped me understand like why she was acting the way she was. Like she wasn't just crazy. Like if we wouldn't have gotten the backstory, most people probably would have been like, yeah, she's just overreacting, like
Yeah,
whatever.
that's true. Because I think, well,
And at points, like, it did confuse me because I'd be sitting there and, like, be so into the present time of, like, the chapter, and then all of a sudden it would jump back and be like, "My dad," and I was like, "Oh, wait a second."
right, yeah.
But I don't think it was, like, too confusing,
I don't
honestly.
think so either.
I like the way it flowed.
I agree because I feel like it flowed pretty well with going back and forth
Yeah.
in the different timeline. It made sense, um, and it gave
Mhm.
us just enough of the backstory to try to piece things together, but it didn't really necessarily give it away
Oh,
too
not
much
at
either.
all.
So
Whereas, like, the previous book we read, The Invisible Life of Addie uh, LaRue,
hmm
like whenever it would jump back and forth in time, I would get like thoroughly confused and have to put the book down and like take a breather. But this one, it would go like it would jump back in time and then come back to the present. But the way that the author wrote it, it flowed so well together that it just wasn't. It wasn't like you were really jumping in time. It was kind of like you were just in her mind, like
yeah,
re reliving the memories and like all of that she went through.
And then her question 6 on page 199. Chloe says, I've seen that before, that look that shows the very first hint of concern, not for my safety, but for my mind. That look that makes me feel like my words are not to be trusted, that my slow unravel is getting faster and faster, spiraling out of control until pretty soon I'll be nothing. How did you feel about Chloe as a narrator? Reliable or unreliable? Why do you think the author chose to portray Chloe in this way?
For me, honestly, a mix of both reliable and unreliable, because at times I was like, yeah, she could be overreacting, like she's reaching a little bit. And other times I was like, no, like this really does seem like it could be what's happening. And I went back and forth with those two like the entirety of the book.
I agree. I mean, I feel like the beginning part, I felt like she was sort of unreliable because, I mean, I felt like she was overreacting a little bit. And then, of course, she was mixing pills and alcohol, which made me feel like, I don't know,
Definitely
that she might be
not.
hallucinating or
Yeah.
like, you know, or something like that. I don't know.
I feel you there. And like you and I have talked about this before, where we like it kind of like that one TV show on Netflix.
Yes, on Netflix.
It kind of like paralleled to that.
Yeah.
But I honestly feel like the whole time, like she wasn't. Yes, she was reliable and unreliable mixed, but like her feelings were definitely valid because there was something going on.
Right.
All of the situations that she was thinking, like at some points, I feel like she was reaching to make connections. But like they somehow all connected and made sense. So I don't know.
I can agree with that. Let's see. And I feel like that because it was a mix, it made the story more intriguing in a way because, like, you didn't, if she was completely, like, unreliable the whole time, you'd be like, she's just hallucinating or this isn't real. Right. But because there's a mix of that reliability and unreliable, you feel like you're like on the edge of your seat, like, is this truly happening?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Like the entire time too. And jumping to the second half of the question, I think that the author chose to portray her this way, just so like we couldn't really catch on to what she was doing. Like some of the time we thought like maybe it was her that did it. The other time we were like, oh, maybe it's her fiance.
Right.
So I think the author did it that way just to be like, you're not gonna guess who it is.
Exactly.
Like, at no point in the book were you going to be able to guess, hey, it was her brother.
That definitely got me. I was so ready to pin it on the fiance. I was like, case closed and done.
And I was like, wow, like it's such a copycat mimic. I was like, it has to be somebody close to her because it was such a like so close to what the dad did. No.
Right.
So
yeah, but like I think we talked about this before. Like, I don't make sure that I'm like not jumping.
That's what I was reading down to see.
All right, I guess we'll come back to my thought. But all right, we'll go to the next question for right now. Let's see. Chloe is trained psychologist. However, due to the trauma she has experienced, she has a hard time taking her own advice. In fact, she often ends up putting herself in dangerous situations trying to find out what happened to the missing girls. Do you think she ever went too far?
Yes.
I can agree.
At some points, yes. Like one situation in particular in the book that like really stuck with me was when she went with the reporter. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. It'll come to me later. But when she went to his the fiance's mother's house and was like snooping in the room and stuff, without knowing. Like, I know she wanted answers, but, like, she just showed up, and then she had the ring on, and she, like, blew the entire thing out of the, like, yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I was like, oh shit.
Yeah, like, because the mom was like, that's her ring, and I was like, whoa, what?
I didn't put it together at first that it was Daniel's mom.
Yeah. I was, like, reading a little bit, and then, like, Chloe came in and was like, "Oh, so this is the sister's ring," and I was like, "Oh." But,
Yeah.
yeah, I definitely think she went too far at some points, but like I said before, like, it was a reach, but it, like, made sense.
That it did. And then 8. The setting of Louisiana summer plays an important part in Flicker in the Dark. How does it tie the various characters together? How does it pull them apart?
Well, like, Lena and Cooper together at the fair, but the dad eyeing them, it made that connection of, like, the dad being the one who had hurt Lena, but
Yeah.
Cooper was also standing right there, which then at the end, it kinda ties it all together. So I'm trying to, like, remember all of the characters because I read this book so quickly that I'm trying to figure out, was there, like, any connection at all to Daniel, like, in her previous life other than, like, his sister we thought his sister was missing, but she turned out not to be? Like, was there any connection, or did they just meet? Because, like, it was, like, one second she was talking about this girl going missing, and then one second, now her fiance's in the picture. Like, there was no
I remember it talked about how they met, how she was like packing her office at an old hospital and they met outside.
But did they only meet that, like, there was no connection to, like, Pryor and Louisiana, like, you know what I mean?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But although I'm pretty sure that he must have known that it was her, you know what I mean?
Right, because he just, like, walked up to her, like, "Here's my card," and, like, put it in her book.
Right. And he obviously knew who she was too.
But did he know who she was because of what her father did?
I think so.
I should have reread this. Confusing myself now. I'm trying to remember all the characters. Cooper he made me mad. I don't even want to talk about him.
I don't know. I feel like he wasn't that like prevalent of a character. He was like there, but he wasn't.
He wasn't, but like it was like certain situations that he would pop. It made me think like the entire time that it wasn't him because he would only pop up at like her birthday party or something.
Yeah.
And then when she got the security system installed, and then he gave her key back because they got into that fight, and then all of a sudden, like, we found out he was the killer. Like, I felt like he wasn't present in the book enough for me to, like, make that connection to be like, "Yep, it was him."
And the other part was like, was it with? No, I think it was with Daniel. When her mom, she got a call about her mom, like, declining.
Yeah. And he was just, like, at the hospital already?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But that makes me question also, like, when she was I don't know. She wasn't sure if her mom was trying to communicate like with her or not. Like I don't know about that part.
But the thing was, like, her mom was, like, writing in her palm, like, Daniel's name, so did Cooper get there beforehand? And, like, I need, like, more. I need more about him because I wanna know if he went in there and, like, threatened her or, like, why did the mom be like, "Yep, it's your fiancé?" Like, not my son sitting right here. It's definitely your fiance. Like,
Well,
that didn't make
she
sense.
didn't technically. Well, she didn't like ask if like Daniel was. I don't know. It was like a very
Well, she didn't really have a way to communicate. Like,
right.
she basically went from the beginning of the book of being married to like severely declining. Like, there was no in between.
That's true.
So I don't know. It was just weird to me that like Cooper just was at the hospital and then all of a sudden Daniel was getting blamed. But I don't know. I guess another way to keep me on my toes.
Yeah, I feel like her question was like something like does she know something about Daniel? Something
Yeah,
like along those lines. Well, maybe she knew that Daniel knew that it was Cooper,
that's what I'm thinking.
but she just took it as it was Daniel.
And there's not really any other main characters except for Aaron, who was I finally remembered his name. He was the reporter.
Right? Which that was also a plot twist on its own.
Also, when Lena was it Lena's dad that installed her security system?
Oh yeah.
When he popped back up, I was like, he's not. I was like, he's definitely gonna remember her. And then like the whole time, the way that she wrote it, it was like he didn't remember her at all. And then all of a sudden, he was like, oh yeah, don't think I don't remember you.
Right. I was like, oh shit,
I'm
things
like,
about to go
wow,
down.
my heart would have been like pounding.
Yeah, literally.
I think we've gone over number 9 quite a few times already.
I think so too.
But just to answer it a little more, the most surprising twist to me was the end when we found out it was
Oh,
Cooper.
yes, I agree.
Well, that and then like how she was engaged throughout the entire book, and then at the end it was like today was supposed to be my wedding day. Like what?
Right. I thought, everything could have been
Happy dandy. Like
happy days or like even
yeah.
being like worked out. Like,
I thought
but
it was. But I mean, I guess after you accuse somebody of murder so many times, you gotta
yeah,
walk away.
I guess, I suppose.
I figured like after she got the full story about like his sister and what he did to help her, like he moved her and he was like, I didn't hurt her, I saved her, like something along those lines. I
Right.
figured like she would have been like, okay, well let's go see your sister and then like I want to see for myself given everything that I've been through. And then they would have like moved on from that, but it was like I'm engaged through the entire book and oh by the way, I'm not engaged anymore.
Right. And then the other part was the reporter was in on it. I was like,
He made me mad too. I guess because he just like he played into her and like was basically like preying on her emotions, and then like all of a sudden he was just like, "Oh yeah, by the way, what is happening? My screen is doing that weird thing again. Don't mind me."
but the other thing is like how she tries to tie it all up in the end with being the brother, and that like how the kid from where she's supposed to get married goes missing, and then the kid at her birthday party that didn't really want to be there, like how her brother was always like in the background of those parts, and then you're like, oh my goodness. It was him. And going back to how she puts herself into danger, how she just went running back to her old house. Like, didn't even phone the authorities or anything. She's just like, I'm just going to go handle it myself. was a little crazy for me. I think you might be frozen. Okay. All right. So I think we answered most of the questions. Does anybody else have any thoughts or comments or questions? Are you back?
I'm on my phone. My computer like automatically just shut down. I was like,
Excuse you.
like I don't know what is going on with it. It is like 5 years old, but it shouldn't be acting like
You shouldn't be acting like this.
a little mad. Don't even confirm that. Did I sing while I was, frozen?
What's that?
Did I miss anything while I was completely frozen?
I was just saying how that the author kind of like tied it all together at the end about how her brother was kind of lurking in the background at every like thing, like how the kid that went missing from her wedding venue, and then the kid at her birthday party that didn't want to be there went missing, and then you're like, oh shit.
It's just weird to like go back and think about like all the situations where like the brother was actually there, but we didn't like register that it was him because he wasn't like such a main character in the chapter or the situation himself.
Right. Yeah. Can't agree. I'm trying to find what I rated it, but I don't remember.
I think I gave it a 3 or a 4. Definitely was not a 5. It probably would have been a 5-star if it didn't irritate me as much as it did. But
I gave it a 4-star. It was a pretty good read. I enjoyed my time.
I really did enjoy it. But at some points it made me mad. What did we read?
I think that's all the questions.
It was, other than given the ending, but I don't know, honestly.
Yeah, I really don't.
I mean, like,
I
what I
kind of want her to get back with Daniel, but at the same time, like, I don't know.
and I was like, yeah, well, that and like I feel like she needs to kind of just move away from all of that and like, start over.
That's true. However, I think even more so now, she's going to be very untrusting of everyone. even more so than before, because I feel like, well, there's no way her mother did not know that it wasn't her brother. I think they mentioned that. And then her father just took the fall.
Did she kill Cooper?
No, I think she drugged him and then called the police.
Oh, I flipped into the book so I could like refresh myself, and I flipped to the part where it was like, on pages 353. It wasn't until I found myself hovering over Cooper and looking down his body that I had a taste of what it really felt like control, and I was like, wait a minute. But yeah, I think she like drugged him.
Yeah, I thought for a minute she killed him too, and I'm like, oh, well, another serial killer has been born.
Oh, family. As a whole, I really did enjoy it. I don't know how everybody felt, because I can't see who else. But I personally can't speak.
I did enjoy the book. It was a good book. I'm excited for the next one, like the next book club pick, because I still have to put up a post either for suggestions before I make a poll of what everybody wants to read.
Ask me for suggestions. I don't want to do this, to be honest. But I bought 4. Well,
You're cutting out. I'm not sure what what's going on.
can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know what's happening.
Ruh-roh.
If it's not my laptop, it's my phone.
I kind of still like the bi-monthly format of the book club because it gives you, I feel like, well, time to get the book for the book club and time to read, because not everybody has time or is as crazy about reading as we are. Can read a book in like a sitting.
My bad. I definitely like the bi-monthly because I'm very big into like reading multiple books at a time.
I agree. Any suggestions for the next book?
Is there like a certain genre you want to go with, or
not necessarily. I try to pick something that everybody will enjoy, that it's not like super, I don't know, like a I don't know what I'm trying to say.
I have a lot of books, so like I read across the board, so honestly I'm fine with anything. But right now I've been on a really big Colleen Hoover kick, as well as Sarah J. Maas. So, or how you say it.
I agree.
So,
I could do a Colleen Hoover book for next. I could put it in the poll. See if you guys are up for it. Something maybe like reminders of him, or Heartbones.
Yes. Both are
I
on
try
my
to stick away from series of books just because if you weren't there when we started the first one, that you're not discluded for the following. Because,
right.
So I try to do standalones.
I am fine with
Let me see.
I'll have to think more on like I'd like to see what everybody else thinks too. Just because there hasn't been that many people that have joined in. On the lives and whatnot. So I'm curious to see like what others are into reading wise.
Right. Although I could suggest one of the like Disney retellings, like the one that you have in your hand there. Yeah.
Yeah, don't mind me.
Because I mean, although they're technically a series, they're all standalones on their themselves, in a way.
Yeah, this would be my first one reading it. I picked up As Old as Time, which is the Beauty and the Beast retelling.
I
But
have that one. I got it in a set, I think, at Barnes and Noble, and it like I have that one, the Aladdin, A Whole New World, and trying to think what the third one was.
there's Once Upon a Dream, which is Maleficent, Reflection, which is Mulan, Part of Your World, which is The Little Mermaid, A Whole New World, which is Aladdin.
I have Unbirthday and Cold Hearted as the other two I have.
I was trying to get through the whole list. You know, I hate when they put cover stickers on.
Like stickers on the cover, yeah.
With the
I
goop
get
on.
mad too. Like
Why did you do me like that? I because I thoroughly love Disney and I like retellings of it to make it like, you know, a little darker. Not that it wasn't already dark. But as a kid you don't think that it is. Like you're sitting there like, oh, a princess.
Yeah.
And it's really like this guy's holding her captive and a princess.
Yep.
I also bought The Butterfly Garden, which I'm super excited to read. It was actually a recommendation from one of my other reading groups. It's a thriller.
It's a what?
It's like a thriller type book, supposedly. Basically, like this garden is a bunch of butterflies. It's basically young women who have been kidnapped and then tattooed to resemble who they were. And the gardener of the butterfly garden is the person who kidnapped them.
Oh, interesting.
So, it's a very small book compared to the others that I've read. My dog is growling at me. He's not happy that I locked him out.
Oh no.
Let me get the wean. I'm sorry, Milo. Don't jump right there. No wonder my laptop doesn't work, you fatty. You jump on it.
That sounds like the dog thing to do.
Yeah.
You
I
have
missed you too,
ample
buddy.
space everywhere else. Let me trample.
That's my little reading buddy. Please don't walk on those.
So did you want to do sprints or what did you want to do?
Whatever you want. I'm fine with sprints. I'm fine with no sprints. I honestly have a headache. I don't know why. But
I feel
I think I'm dehydrated.
It's been an interesting day. Like I said, I took a very long nap that I didn't mean to take.
I know, I was like texting you, and then I was like, wow, where'd she go? I
She
was like
just
talking about the
disappeared.
books I bought, and I was gonna ask if you had any of these and like what your opinions were, if you had read them or not, and then I like didn't get a response after my hi, and I was like, you okay? Because normally you're like pretty quick to respond.
Yeah.
I was like, she
I
either
was
fell off the face of the earth or she's taking like a freaking hibernation nap.
I did take a hibernation nap. I woke up like 8:30 this morning. I was okay, but I was still like really tired and had 2 cups of coffee, turned to be like noon, like 1 o'clock, and I'm like,
I feel you. I've been, for some reason, like with this new job where I've been waking up so early, as soon as the sun rises, my body's like, all right, time to get up. Both yesterday and today, I like woke up and I was like, it has to be 9 a.m. Like, if it's not 9 a.m., I am not getting out of bed. 7 a.m. on the dot every time.
no.
I was so mad. I was like, well, I'm up now. Oh. But it doesn't matter. I wish more people were on. Oh.
I agree. Maybe we'll do maybe 1 or 2 sprints.
That's fine. I'm gonna mute myself so I can go use the restroom really quick.
Alright. Chose a background for some music. Oh, wait. Hold it. Hold everything. Let's see.
I'm going to read Verity.
Do it.
I'm on chapter 8.
It's so good. I read it in like 2 sittings, and it was
I
the best
know.
choice of my life.
I started it before you, and then you were like, I'm starting it, and then you were like,
And I'm done.
100 pages in. I finished. And I was like, wait. Wait a minute.
It was just so good.
You're sitting in the way.
5 out of 5 stars.
Oh, really?
Yes, so good.
It's like right now, for me, it's like a 3.5, but you can't give half stars on Goodreads.
No, but you can on Storygraph.
Yeah, you can. Storygraph made me mad. I like inputted all my books and then it glitched out and nothing was there. So I have to go back through and put them all back in and figure out the dates. That's like a whole day process for me.
Oh no.
Yeah. I wish my laptop was working. I might go grab my boyfriend's. I will be.
So we are setting up for the sprint portion of this. We went through the book club discussion already. I brought a couple books with me, and then my Kindle, because I can't decide. I'm happy to have you here. Thank you for joining. I have to admit, just started yesterday. What'd you start? Oh, there's a doggo.
Yeah, he get in the way. You yell at him. It's okay. Thanks for looking, though. Hey, language, I'm okay. How long is sprint? 30 minutes?
Yeah. If you want to do 30 minutes, or we could do shorter or something if you want.
30.
Did you want like a YouTube background or just a timer?
I'm whatever. I'm being suffocated by animals.
Oh no.
Hey, hi, Stan. Oh. Let's see the blanket. Christian, take this thing.
Maybe we'll try a YouTube timer. We will figure it out.
I started using, what is it, the Pomodoro technique or something?
There's that, but I don't know. I've never used it, so I don't know how.
I only have it on my phone. When I'm just really not feeling motivated, I turn it on.
It won't let me change the time amount. It's 25 minutes.
25?
Yeah. Otherwise, we can just use this. Let's see.
I am whatever. My allergies are kicking my butt.
I mean, there's this one. I just have to be careful with what I pick because I don't want to be kicked. I don't know. Oh. All right.
I'm going to go ahead and mute myself.
I'm going to do the same. Hello. We're back. Technically, it was 25 minutes because the timer was 25 minutes, but it's all good.
I have to text you about this book.
What's that?
I'm gonna have to text you about this book when we're done because I don't want to ruin it for anybody.
But isn't it so good?
Oh
Like
my gosh. I read 64 pages in 25 minutes.
Jeez.
Oops.
It's pretty fast. I think I got like 20 pages.
I just
maybe.
couldn't stop. Like,
That's how I felt. I was just like speed reading through that book. That's why I read it in like 2 sittings. It was so good.
oh my gosh.
Too good.
Oh, it is.
Like, I want to know what part you're at. Like,
I will message it to you really quick.
okay. I don't want to spoil it for the other people, but I'm like,
No, I don't either.
I read like 2 chapters of Gallant.
How is it?
I don't know. It's interesting. It's by the same author that wrote, oh my goodness, The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue.
Oh yeah, I like that. I might have to add it to my
But this is like, I guess it's supposed to be like dark and spooky vibes. I mean, which it is. It's cute. I like. I don't know, there's like. There's like pictures in here, and it's a lot more than I expected it to be.
I just messaged you where I'm at.
Okay.
Are we gonna do one or are we gonna just?
I think one more.
I'm gonna go ahead and mute myself. But
Okay. So the timer went off. How'd you do?
I'm almost done.
Almost done.
Yeah, I have like 50 pages left.
Ooh.
But I have to go eat dinner now.
I don't know. I think it disconnected from Facebook. It looks like.
Let me see.
But that's okay. I'm like
Can't tell.
a third of the way in Gallant. It's going by pretty quickly.
I'm gonna finish this book tonight. I just have to get some food in me.
Do it.
Yes.
You won't believe it.
Oh, I'm gonna message you about it.
Honestly.
Because I don't know if we're still hooked onto Facebook or not, and I don't want to ruin this for anybody.
True.
But holy crap.
You're gonna finish it and you're like, I need to call you right now.
I'm gonna be like, look, you need to answer me right now. But I'm going to hop off for the night and go eat and try to get things under control.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for hanging out.
Yeah, anytime. I will message.
Sounds good.
All right. Bye.
Bye. I'm gonna end the live stream now too, everyone. I'm not sure if it got disconnected from Facebook or not, but hopefully the video will show up on Facebook.